Hello folks, today I had a pleasure to have Kid from Crypto Bullseye channel as a guest on my channel, and since we are sharing similar values and since he's a very knowledgeable guy, I thought that he could provide us some useful insights regarding Shanghai upgrade, future narratives, asymmetric opportunities in the crypto space, risk management, and many other things. So stay tuned, watch this video till the end, and please forgive us if we did any mistakes since this is the first time for both me and Kid doing format like this. So enjoy the video. Hello guys, my name is Željko and welcome to Asymmetric. Today we have a Kid from Crypto Bullseye channel. He is producing technical analysis and price action content. So welcome Kid, please introduce yourself.
Well, Jellico, thank you for having me on your show. I've been a long time follower. We've been speaking for a long time now, so appreciate you having me on. Like I say, we've got Crypto Bullseye channel. We provide technical analysis, crypto news, and more importantly, tutorials. What I like to say, a bit of crypto love on top of that.
Thanks, Kid, for introducing yourself, and thank you for joining this call. So the first question that I wanted to ask you is what are currently the biggest asymmetric opportunities in crypto space, and where do you think that people can take the biggest advantages currently?
Well, for me, I'm a technical analyst, so chart analysis is the first and foremost thing that I look for. I do have an investment portfolio, which I look at. Now, this changes in and out during the period of the crypto bear market. So I'm in altcoins when the charts tell me to. I'm out of altcoins when the charts tell me to. The ultimate strategy for me is to accumulate Bitcoin, accumulate Ethereum to a point that we get to the halving and we start seeing a change in the long-term macro events. So as soon as we start seeing that change and a bit of an uptick in the crypto market, a bit of confidence in the crypto market, I think personally that's when I'll be diversifying out of that Bitcoin and Ethereum, ready for the next bull run. I'm expecting it to be at the end of 2025, but I'm preparing for it not to be. So I think preparation is the key. As far as opportunities are concerned, I would say there's a lot out there. You've got to do your own research. It's important that you do your own research because you could get burnt as well. You know yourself, Jellico, you've been hurt yourself. So you can get burnt in this world. So you've got to do your own research, guys. That's the first thing.
So currently, the majority of your portfolio is in stable coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum, right?
That's exactly right. Yes. We're at an indecisive point in the market now. Bitcoin's at a strong resistance level. Ethereum, we've got the merge coming up, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We've got the merge coming up with Ethereum. Is it going to be a case of buy the rumor, sell the news? Because that's what happened with the ETH 2.0 merge. Is this Shanghai upgrade going to be the same? So we're at key resistance points on Ethereum. We're at key resistance points on a Bitcoin. If we look at the total 1, the total 2, and the total 3 chart, you'll see that we're lagging on the total 3, which is the cryptocurrency market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I'm looking out for two things now. The two things that I'm looking out for, firstly, is what's going to happen at the resistance level for Bitcoin. Are we going to get a pullback, and are we going to get a confirmation level from a long zone of accumulation that we've been in for nearly 3/4 of a year? So if we get a confirmation from Bitcoin and that level acts as support for me, then what I'm looking for is a rally in the altcoins. If it doesn't happen and we have a surge to the downside, in my opinion, stable coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum are the things that you need to be in, because they're the things that are going to bleed less. So that's why I'm prepared. If we do get a breakout of altcoins, you can always buy back on confirmation. So I'm cautious at the moment at these resistance levels.
Yeah, honestly, I pretty much agree with everything regarding the altcoins, especially currently, if we get a pullback, I guess that's the only way when the altcoin dominance could start trailing up. If we continue the uptrend, we still don't have a clear breakout or strong trend to the upwards, for people to start moving to altcoins massively. Yeah, regarding merge, I remember to me earlier it happened that I staked some Ethereum and I wasn't even aware that I can't unstake it. That was early on in 2018 18, 19 or something like that. And like I feel that that's like mainly the people that will actually unstake the Ethereum and maybe take profits. And like afterwards you could actually like sell that staked Ethereum. If you did it on Binance, you had like staked it in comparison to it, which was like in a range around 0.9, but actually pretty much at the moment when you were staking it, you were wasting like 10% of your Ethereum, right? So do you think like that's also the majority of the people that will be like selling now, or you feel that there are like other people that will like try to sell their Ethereum?
Ultimately, we've had the surge of price action over the past few weeks, and if I think personally we were going to get that flood of new money coming into Ethereum, we would have broken these levels by now. So you've got to think that is new money coming in, because people probably will sell. Some people are going to sell from that merge. So as far as supply and demand is concerned, someone's got to buy that back. If somebody's selling, someone's got to buy. And the more that people that are selling, the more people that need to buy for us to break that strong resistance level. So the potential is that we are going to get that pullback, Jellicoe. It's just how big of a pullback will that be, and will our previous resistance level act as support?
Yeah, looking forward to see that as well. So regarding the Ethereum and the Shanghai upgrade, do you see that will have like a big impact on price, and that we might get a slight pullback first and then a rally up? Because I think, like if this goes well, I think there will be like more and more people that are like investing in Ethereum, because like currently when you look at the staked amount of Ethereum in comparison to other layer ones, like Ethereum has like 16 or 80%, something like that. And when you look other layer ones, there are some which have like 70, 80% of their token stake. So do you think that the Ethereum will move in that direction? And what do you expect when it comes to the price action in the next few days, weeks, and so on?
I think ultimately it's going to be a bullish thing. What I do is I think to myself, what would I do if I was in that position? And if I'd had that amount of ETH locked for a long period of time after the ETH 2.0 upgrade, and I couldn't take that out, would I take it out again after the Shanghai upgrade? And I probably wouldn't, to be honest with you. I might take a little bit of rewards out of there. I might take a little bit of stake profits out of there, but I don't think I would. And would the majority of people start taking this out? I mean, why would they? They haven't bought in at a super huge level. It was in the middle of a bear market when the 2.0 ETH upgrade happened. It wasn't like in May 2019 or anything like that. So would the majority of people take it out? And I've done a video on my show, which I haven't released yet, which I'm about to today, which explains basically the upcoming Shanghai upgrade, the effects on the ETH 2.0 merge, and whether this is going to be the same thing. And it's not going to be the same thing. The ETH 2.0 merge was the biggest technological feat of its kind, and it saved 99.8% of electricity off its own back. So you've got to give kudos to Vitalik and the guys at Ethereum. So I'm not sure as far as short-term price action is concerned, because we've had a bit of a rally now, and I'll share it on the charts actually. So let's have a quick look. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to look at what happened on the build up to the ETH 2.0 merge. And like I said, this was in the midst of a bear market. So you started making a rally here in a series of higher lows and higher highs. ETH 2.0 merge happened here. And what happened? You had a little bit of a rally and a pullback. You created that higher low there. And this is what the typical scenario of buy the rumor and sell the news is. Are we going to get the same again this time? That's what the question is. And if we have a quick look at the build up to the Shanghai upgrade, you can see the charts are similar now. We're making that series of higher lows, and higher highs. And we've got a couple of days now. This is the daily chart, ETH USDT. We've got a couple of days now before the upgrade happens. What is going to happen? Because we're at a key decisive point here. We're at a key resistance area, and the key resistance area is sitting at around about $2,031. So if we break above that and we get positive momentum after the Shanghai upgrade, like you say, more people start going into it, more people start staking it. And once that staking is built into there and locked, it means that they're not going to be selling anytime soon. So you could get a surge That's one scenario. You could get a surge. You want this to act as confirmation. If you didn't get the surge and people started selling at this resistance level and this come back down here, it's going to take a couple of weeks, apparently. It's going to take a couple of weeks for all the unlocks to happen. If people wanted to take all their money out, it would take a few weeks for that to happen. So price action would need to come down over a period of a few weeks. You'd get your peaks, you'd get your troughs. Would this trend here last? That's going to be the main thing. If we did get a bit of move to the downside, we are expecting a bit of move to the downside. We can have a quick look at the stochastic indicator, the RSI. We're coming from an overbought area. So it is likely that this is going to come back down on a downtick. Stochastic, come back down, you get a reset on the stochastic, and then we can hopefully start making moves to the upside. But it's all ifs and buts at the moment, Jellicoe, all ifs and buts, and all eyes on this key resistance area here, sitting at $2,031, between $2,031 and between $2,045.
Do you think that there is a possibility that, because like if you compare the issuance rate with the yearly yield, like Ethereum is like becoming one of the, it's definitely becoming the best layer one when it comes to that. So do you believe that there is a possibility that we have Ethereum rally as we are having Bitcoin rally currently? And do you believe that people might expect that we're gonna have like big breakout of altcoins and that it just happens to Bitcoin and not to the altcoins at all?
It completely depends, to be honest with you, Jellicoe. It's been very much a Bitcoin run the last couple of months. Bitcoin's outperformed pretty much anything. There's been a few altcoins that have popped, but other than that, Bitcoin has been the dominant market leader. And that's because people are in fear at the moment, like we explained earlier. People are in fear, and that's the big daddy. That's the safest asset. It is the big daddy in crypto. So people flood into Bitcoin, and that's why we've had this surge. What we're waiting for is confirmation that we can hold previous resistance to become support on the higher time frame. And once that happens, people will start coming out of their Bitcoin and start going into altcoins. So I think that we possibly could get an altcoin surge, but like I say, charts are going to tell us a story, and we're just waiting for them to tell us that story.
Do you think there is a possibility for the Ethereum rally?
Do I think that there's a possibility of an Ethereum rally? There's always a possibility, Jellicoe, in crypto. There's always a possibility. Markets do whatever they want, and that's one lesson that I've been taught. So do we think that there's going to be an Ethereum rally? There's a possibility that if we did get a confirmation from Bitcoin, remember that's run further, and we'll share our charts. We'll have to do another call, Jellicoe, and I'll share my charts on Bitcoin and what I mean by this confirmation. But we've been in a 276-day range in Bitcoin. We've broken out of that 276-day range, and we're waiting to see what happens when we get the pullback. If we get a confirmation, you're going to get a run in the altcoins. If you get confirmation, Ethereum, with the upgrade that's happening now and everything that's going on, they've got burning mechanism built into the tokenomics. There's definitely a possibility that ETH could run. If you look at the BTC and Ethereum chart, we've been trading in a diamond shape. That diamond shape's been going on for a long time now. And what happens on those diamond shapes, you probably know yourself, Jellicoe, is you're going to get a huge move to the upside, or you're going to get a huge move to the downside. We're currently testing the bottom of the range at the moment, and I thought we were going to break to the downside, but we're not. We're holding that range at the moment. There's a possibility that we'll start making an uptick. Even if Ethereum tested the top of the range there, that would be a huge surge in comparison to Bitcoin. So there's definitely a possibility. Jellicoe, but like I say, the charts will tell us the story, and we can just see what happens. It's always good to look at the BTC versus ETH chart, because ultimately, what do we want to do in this market? My strategy is to accumulate Bitcoin and accumulate Ethereum. By coming out of one and going into the other, you can certainly do that, and that's similar with the altcoins as well. Right, okay, Jellicoe, this is what I mean between the ETH BTC. So this is the weekly chart, and each one of these candles represents 1 week of price action. So it's been in a range now for some time. It's been holding this diamond shape for some time now, and that time is 101 weeks, so nearly 2 years now. Is it ETH going to bounce up? And this is going to answer your question quite nicely, because if we manage to take out this high here and we get a break of trend from this, don't forget, the longer the time frame, the higher the time frame, the higher chance it's got of playing out. So if we get a break of trend here from Ethereum and price action manages to hold this as confirmation and move to the upside, that move to the upside, Jellicoe, that move to the upside is exactly from where price action is now to the top of this range, 24.83%. That's 24.83% against Ethereum, against Bitcoin, should I say. So you can imagine what kind of an increase that means in real time against the dollar. So that's what I'm looking for in Ethereum. If we get negative news, something happens with the merge, it doesn't go quite right, we break down from here and this comes back as resistance, then just to test this low here, we're looking at a drop. If we were at resistance here, you're looking at a drop here to the wick down 25%, to the body down 19%. So that's what I'm looking for. And the break of this to the upside or to the downside is the key. I mean, a break to the upside, Jellicoe, if you're looking at that from the weekly, that could coincide with potentially the next bull run, couldn't it? So let's have a look at how long that is. If price action come back from here and broke the wedge, I mean, you're looking anywhere between 25 bars to the end of the wedge, 45 bars. That's 25 to 45 weeks. Could a break above this and a confirmation for Ethereum make a big, huge run for Ethereum for the next bull run? That's what we want to know. That's what we'll find out. So that's what I'm thinking on that, Jellicoe.
So when we are looking BTC and Ethereum chart, like in the last 3 weeks, we had a breakdown, but we are now returning like to the 0.66 to 0.69 area. If we break out through that area and hold that as a support, that would be another bullish sign for the Ethereum, right?
You are completely right, Jellicoe. You are completely right. So I did explain before previously that this is what you want to be looking at, is this break here. That's going to gain momentum. But this area that you've just mentioned here, look how many times it was held as support previously. Look how many times it was previously resistant. So the area that you're talking about, Jellicoe, that we broke down from, this false breakout that you're talking about here, this would be amazing for key support. If we did manage to get above here, and we did get this break of trend, and this level did act as confirmation, then you can see that once we've took out this key area, we can start moving upwards to the top of this channel. And that'd be bullish for Ethereum, it'd be bullish for cryptocurrency. It'd mean a little bit of a slowdown for Bitcoin, but it'd certainly be bullish for Ethereum. The breakdown level, funny enough, that you just mentioned, let's stick, I don't know if this is going to be the case, but let's stick a fixed range volume indicator on this. This is going to give us the mean from this whole diamond pattern here. It's not far off it, Jellicoe, not far off it at all, pretty much. So this here, what this gives us is a zone to break through. This is going to be our major resistance level. You can see how these things, you can stack up probabilities and you can stack up favors in certain directions by adding these indicators on there. We know that that's the mean. We can see that the stochastic is upticking upwards. We can see that the RSI is coming up to the 50 level, the mid-side level. So once this has happened, you've got the RSI above here and you've got a break of the RSI. That's going to give you additional confirmation. So you can see what we're looking for. Now is not a good time. Here would be a good time. It's the same area, Jellicoe. It's the same area. This resistance is no good for me. Support is. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you for explaining everything. Okay, Keith, I have like one more question for you. Like, what are like the narratives that you see are upcoming? Do you think like that we're gonna see DeFi, AI, NFTs, or what do you see is coming next?
Well, NFTs, as far as real estate's concerned, as far as merchandising are concerned, that's going to be a big thing, Jellicoe. People are starting to adopt that, and they can say that you can buy a percentage, or you will be able to buy a percentage or a very small nomination of real estate in Manhattan. Does that sound appealing to you? Probably not at the moment. Probably not at the moment. But NFTs, that could be one narrative. AI, that's the narrative for 2023, isn't it? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. So it's early in development as far as tokenization and cryptocurrency is concerned. Once it does develop and the technology integrates correctly, AI is going to be something that's going to be something that I personally would want in my bags as far as the narrative's concerned. So what I tend to do, and this is not at the moment because I'm mainly in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins, but what I tend to do when I want to accumulate for a portfolio, and I wasn't there early on in the last bull run, this is the first bull run for me that's going to start from the early days of the bear market. So I've been in a bull run. I was pretty much, as far as 2021 was concerned, I was there January, February. That's too late as far as I'm concerned. I didn't know anything about crypto as far as that was concerned. So I didn't certainly know enough of crypto. So what I want to do for the next one is I want to have a bag of narratives. I want to make sure that I've got the correct narratives, and I want to apply the correct risk management to those narratives. So I've got high risk, low risk of each narrative, and let them ride. And I'm going to have my key areas of resistance, where that's going to turn back into Bitcoin going forward. So you could do that from just hitting the previous all-time high. When Bitcoin hits the previous all-time high, you would have had a run of about 6 to 9 months by then anyway. Then you've got 6 to 9 months left of the official bull run once you make a new high. So narratives, that's a good point, Jellicoe. That's a good point. AI, DeFi, you've got all sorts of narratives now, haven't you? You've got the gamify. I certainly play Splinterlands myself. That's lots of NFTs on that. Yeah, one of each narrative I recommend highly.
Yeah, fractional NFT seems really interesting. We will see how that will move going forward. Like, what do you think? How will the events regarding like the exchanges and recent depegging of USDC affect DeFi? Do you think that will like have the positive impact on DeFi to evolve even further?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, Jellicoe, we've all got to realize crypto is high risk, crypto is speculative. So we've got these stable coins and they're pegged against a dollar or something that's an asset that's collateralized similar to the dollar. So it could be loans, it could be lots of different things, but ultimately that's pegged 1-to-1 against the dollar. Someone takes that away from us, what happens then? That's what I'm concerned about. Will they stop us from having stable coins? Because they all want to start their CBDCs. Each currency here in Britain, we're starting our own CBDC. Everyone's going to do it, and that's going to be a form of them trying to control everything that we do. So as far as DeFi is concerned, as far as stable coins are concerned, that's the one thing that worries me. And I hope USDT, I hope USDC are strong winners in this effect, because ultimately it will flood people to DeFi in the end. People don't want to be monitored. People want privacy, and DeFi is the key to that. So I think you're completely right. The problem is, like I say, we're early on, and you can see that the US dollar now against Bitcoin last year, the US dollar surged. The Dixie flew. Dixie absolutely smashed it. And that was because there was a war in Ukraine. There's fear on the macro scale. There's high inflation, and people flood into something where people, or where a government does that to people. So they print money left, right, and center. They can print money left, right, and center. So what I'm getting at, Jellicoe, is if they can print money left, right, and center and inflate an asset and devalue everything that's in somebody's pocket, why wouldn't people flood to Bitcoin in 2022? And that's what gets me as far as DeFi is concerned. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for it to happen.
Yeah, I agree. The thing that's like one of the things that also like impacts the Bitcoin dominance, and that people use Bitcoin as a hedge instead of like fiat or something like that?
Yes, definitely. Including myself more recently, because I try not to listen to the FUD. I don't listen to the FUD to a certain extent, but something niggling in your head makes you do things at a certain point. And I had a couple of exchanges where I had a bit of money on there, and I've moved them off there onto decentralized exchanges now.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about Bitcoin volatility, but actually the profits come from the volatility as well, right?
So the volatility in crypto, that's one of the things that I love more than anything. This is one of the things that drives me as far as trading is concerned, as far as technical analysis is concerned. You get more of a move. You get sometimes more in an hour than what you get in a stock market in a year. So that's what I look for in crypto. You've got to be ultra cautious on the back of that, because it can come and bite you in the backside just as much as it can if you were in the right direction. So if you've got your gains, it can come and turn into losses just as easily. So appropriate risk management is the key. And it goes back to your portfolio question as well, as far as what narratives that I should keep in there. Narratives should be there, but appropriate risk management should be there first and foremost. If you've got gaming is your most important thing. If you prefer gaming more than anything else, Do you have 90% of your assets in gaming? No, you don't. You apply the proper risk management. So volatility is the key. And as far as your earlier question with regards to stable coins are concerned, I do think part of the bull run was on the back of, or the recent bull run for Bitcoin was on the back of people being scared of crypto coins, stable coins. At the end of the day, USDC, that was depegged. It was fixed pretty quickly. Is USDT next? USDT is holding its own. And when you look at the actual USDT dominance, which is something that we always do on our channel, you can see that although it's had a bit of a down move recently, ultimately it does carry quite a high percentage of the crypto market. So long may that continue as far as I'm concerned, Jellicoe. Long may that continue.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, the risk management is a key thing. And like, often you can see that people are trading like highly volatile coins, and they also apply leverage to it. And like, they understand the part that it can become like multiplier for the gains, but it can also be a multiplier for your lose, right? And it can easily lead to liquidations, and people don't take enough care about it.
That is one good point that you make there, because myself personally learned it the hard way. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was 2 leverage accounts that I traded and 2 leverage accounts that I ended up with 0. In the early days of me trading, I did think that the volatility was great. I did think by borrowing money and adding that to my position was even better. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. And when you start building a position, when it's moving to the downside, then you're going to get yourself burnt. And that's what happened twice with me. And it didn't happen again after that, Jellicoe. I make sure that I've got my rules, I've got my trading plan, I've got my trading strategy within my trading plan. And there's a high probability that that can't happen because I'm not allowed to do that anymore. And on top of that, we'll say that as far as leverage is concerned, if you've got a 5x on Bitcoin and you've got a 5x on something high risk or higher risk, such as an altcoin like Render or Phantom, or something that are good products, they're good tokenomics behind them. And to me, they will make a difference in the future. They're not big market players. And if you put a 5x on Bitcoin and you put a 5x on Render, you watch how much money you will lose on Render in comparison to the moves that Bitcoin makes. It's because there's not enough liquidity into there to be able to fund it. So you get more volatile moves on the altcoins. And I highly recommend, if you don't know how to trade spot, do never, ever trade leverage.
Yeah, and sometimes it can happen that you just have one larger wick to the upside or downside that can pretty much liquidate your position. Yeah, that's mainly like the reason why I always advise people to only trade futures with higher leverage from the profits that they made on spot, and not just investing more and more money into the futures which they're losing consistently, which I can see really often. Like, and one point that you mentioned earlier, which I really like, is like that when you're looking at some narrative, that you invest part of the money into something which you feel like more secure, and something that is like higher risk, higher reward as well. And that's also a good part of risk management as well. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So you break your narratives down into its own risk management portfolio. So if you wanted proof of stake consensus as far as the narrative's concerned, you would have a risk management applied to that. And within that pot, would you say, of tokens, of cryptocurrencies, you would have the players that are more likely to win. And then you'd have the players that are more speculative, higher risk, new products, new tokens, new teams. You would have them further down. So you'd have them at 5%, you'd have the higher players at 30, 40%. And that's just within the narrative portfolio. So overall, you want a portfolio split where you've got lots of different narratives and you've only got something like 10% within each narrative. As far as the next bull run's concerned, it's not something that I'm looking at doing now, because I've got my strategy in my head that I'll be accumulating these altcoins after the next halving. So that's what I'm looking at doing as far as the narrative's concerned. But you're completely right as far as the risk management's concerned. It's speculative. And when you look at Amazon, and when you look at Google, and when you look at the dot-com bust and the dot-com boom, when you look at those two things, who'd have thought that it would be Amazon? Who'd have thought it would have been Google? And who'd have thought it would have been these big players that would have survived? Because ultimately they were small fries like everyone else. And if you pick something that's wrong, then you could lose everything if one of these are the big players win.
Yeah, I agree fully with you. Yeah, thank you for sharing all the information. The way I love the Bitcoin sign at the behind.
Do you like that? This one.
Yeah.
This one, yeah. It needs a bit of a clean, actually. We've just booked. My girlfriend's just booked a cruise for next year, and completely coincidentally, they've got a Bitcoin art gallery in there.
Oh, it's cool. It's really cool. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that now.
Yeah. Make sure to follow Keith at Crypto Bullseye. You will find the link in the description below. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Keith, for joining me today.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure, Jellico. Thank you, Asymmetric crypto community. Thank you, Jellico, for having me on your show. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm sure we're going to catch up soon. Take care, everybody, and goodbye from me.
Have a great day. See ya. Stay strong and healthy. Bye.
Bye-bye.